Jasmine Jones, and I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild, and this little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are reviewing Cross Season 2, Episode 4, Harden, and we are sipping on sweet tea and vodka that tastes mostly like regular tea mixed with vodka, and the sweetness is gone. I don't know, the vodka killed the sweetness. This wasn't a good choice. But it'll get you turned. It'll get you turned. How y'all doing? So, it's another day in the land where they're molesting children and eating babies. The rich are. And yeah, I'm going to mention it the intro of every episode, because I'm not going to let y'all forget. Don't watch my shit. Don't watch my shit if you want to forget. I'm not going to let you forget, because that's actively ignoring the babies, and I'm not going to sit up here and actively ignore the babies that are being harmed in the world. Right, so oh my gosh, I was looking at this little clip of apparently like Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo was doing they were giving out awards at the Baptist. And apparently this man with Tourette's, because they did a movie about him, was there, and he screamed out niggers, and because of his Tourette's, right? But you didn't say nigger. It didn't say he said niggers for any other black people that came up on the stage or whatever. So I'm just kind of like, okay. But I don't know. I don't have real much sympathy for that. I feel like if you are knowingly in a room full of baby eaters and child molesters, it's like going into a room full of the KKK. Like, of course they're going to be racist. Of course they're going to... No, a lot of these black celebrities are sitting out here not saying shit about this stuff, kissing up to these white people. And I just realized this is a bunch of people that don't like themselves. They're insecure. And it took me a while to like myself. Was I ever at the place where I didn't like myself enough that I could be talked into molesting or eating a child? No, I was never that far gone. But you know, like even the way I stated it last time, you know, like they probably get some of these folks at these Hollywood parties, and they get you high, they get you drunk, and next thing you know, you're waking up next to a child and you don't know what happened. But there's a lot of pictures and videos of what happened, and then that's what they use as evidence to get you to come back and make more pictures and videos so that they can have a stockpile of evidence. Even in that situation, I just go to jail. I'm not going to continue harming children. Like, I'm not going to be talked into it. I'll plead my case. I'll be like, I blacked out at this party and woke up next to a child. I don't know what happened. I feel like I was set up. It's still going to sound like excuses. I'll go to jail. I do my time. I'll restart my life. I'll figure it the fuck out, because there's been many a point in time where I had to restart and figure my life out. So I'm used to that. It's not that serious. I can go back there. I can do it again. Do I want to? Absolutely the fuck not. It's very hard and emotionally taxing. But I'm not going to be, I was never in a place in my life where, like, I feel energy. Like, I can't be knowingly be in the same room as pedophiles and baby eaters and feel comfortable and feel excited, especially not for their little 10 medal awards in a country whose monarchy, has been best friends with international pedophiles at least twice. And there was some boy that was climbing naked out of the castle windows and fell to the ground a few years ago. That's Asian tourists videotaped and stuff. I just feel in my spirit like that's evil. And I am side-eyeing folks that are staying silent. And I am just wondering, how evil are we going to get here? Like, you sitting in a room that maybe you didn't participate, but you sit in a room next to baby eaters and child molesters and shit, and you're not saying anything, and they're sitting at your tables waiting for their awards, and they're eating their food next to you, and you're just sitting there in silence, not saying anything. Then you're culpable. You're culpable. You're a part of it. Like, your silence is loud and you're a part of it. And so no, I had no sympathy for that. I was just like, well, that's what happens when you're in a room full of pedophiles and baby eaters. They're going to allow some shit like that to happen because that was pre-recorded. They could have cut that shit out. Maybe they thought, oh, well, somebody would have recorded it and put it out later, and it would have made us look da-da-da-da-da-da. But, there was a choice made there. and there was no consideration for how the black people in the room may have felt. There was no apology. There was just a like, well, he has Tourette's, so, and then a whole explanation about what Tourette's is, and there was no consideration about like, okay, but how did it affect the black people in the room, and I just feel like that's what happens when you sit in a room, in a KKK room, like, like that's what happens when you sit around a bunch of KKK members and shit. Like, I don't, like people sitting up here, they don't like themselves. They need this attention. They need these awards and shit. Girl, if I was this famous, the first million, I would have got out and started just trying to flip the million, and I wouldn't have looked back. Let me be famous like that. I wouldn't even be showing up at these award shows. I did the art. I got the money. That was enough. Like, I'm out. Like, I'm not coming to these award shows. I'm not even going to record a video talking about, and I just want to thank everybody, and I'm sorry for not being able to be there. No, for what? I don't care about these little 10 medal awards and shit. I did the art lives forever. All the movies that we remember from growing up, that's what we remember is the movie. We don't necessarily remember who won the Oscar and who did it. That's the most important thing. But then you have to realize a lot of these people don't like themselves. A lot of these people don't like themselves. And a lot of these people are just allowing certain behaviors around them because they think that as long as I'm not participating, you are fine with the knowledge that a child is being desecrated. That multiple children are being desecrated. And you just don't give a fuck because, I don't know, some of them probably did participate. Some of them probably did. I'm not saying all of the black folks did, but I was thinking about it, I was like, and so, because the reason that there's not a lot of black folks in the Epstein file except for Jay-Z and what's his name, Pusha T, whatever his name is, and they're not writing emails to this man. There's no correspondences between black people and this man that was the go-between networker for the rich and famous. It's because it's not in our culture to keep receipts like that. It's not in our culture because we've experienced it with white people for so long that we keep receipts and then show it back to the white folks. Because white folks, they're living in la la land thinking that they rule the universe and shit. And so they will, I mean, like, how do you think a lot of these black people were able to sue their jobs and shit? Because their supervisors were harassing them via email and text message. And they just collected the email and the text messages because white people, that's why they don't think that they're dirty, so they don't have to bathe as often because I'm pure and white and clean and you stink. No, they stink like they do. They're not pure. The ones that don't bathe, because this been bred into their culture to believe that they're the best in every single way. So if I'm emailing and I'm not gonna get called, like I'm white, and so like I feel like there's not many black people named in the Epstein files because that's a part of our culture to keep receipts. Now, can we be talked into some bullshit? Yes, we can be talked into some bullshit. Can some of us be actual pedophiles that we don't even have to be talked into the bullshit? We're just gung-ho ready to go like R. Kelly and shit? Yeah, but I don't necessarily think that the people that were being blackmailed that were black celebrities and maybe various other celebrities of color too, I don't think that they would be emailing and text messaging this man like that. Now, I could be wrong. There could be a whole bunch of shit that come out because a lot of people's names are redacted still. But, like, so that's what I'm saying. You don't know who was actually doing shit in a part of this shit. And you don't know. So until people come out and start saying shit, for me, it's all of them. You're either culpable because you sat there and you did nothing and you let them desecrate the babies, or you were involved in it and you was desecrating babies and you was making excuses for it and whatever the fuck reason, or you were just a pedophile, whatever the fuck reason. But I had no sympathy for that. I was just like, you killed 2 black women in the movie and then you walked up with a white woman. You catered to the whiteness, and then is this karma? Like, editing Jasmine here. And, they're saying that they cut off a piece where a black artist director was mentioning Palestine and things like that. So this could have been completely avoided, but we know that they do humiliation rituals for these people, right? so that they can get ahead, right? And so these people will be agreeable to these humiliation rituals. So this is looking more and more like a humiliation ritual that somebody was agreeable to. And, because at the end of the day, there was choices that could have been made to edit things out and they didn't on purpose. So now I'm thinking it's all on purpose and it's a humiliation ritual. And, I can't have sympathy for those that put themselves in harm's way knowing that you're in a room full of baby eaters. They eat babies, they molest children, they're racist. They're racist. These black celebrities know these people are racist at this point, especially when you get up to the point. Oh, my cat scared me. Especially when you get up to the point where you're accepting big international awards, the Oscars of England. You're accepting those awards and things like that. So, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Are we ready to divest, or are we going to keep being a part of these humiliation rituals? Like, what are we ready to divest from white supremacy? That's the only question. Are we ready? Are we ready? We found out they eat babies. We found out they're molesting children in a worldwide network of human trafficking and molesting babies. We already knew they were racist. We already knew that they were starting wars and causing chaos across the world in other people's countries and things like that. Like, now they called you nigger in a room full of people on international television. When are the black celebrities going to be ready to divest from this space? That's why I say it's not my business. It's none of that experience. I'm sorry that they had it. That nobody should be subjected to it, but you already know the people that you're dealing with will subject you to that. So God bless being in that situation, knowing that these people are eating babies and, God bless. It's not my business as far as that's concerned. I care about the babies being eaten right now. So I don't have any feelings about it. That's sad that you think monsters are going to be different. And motherfuckers is posting shit like, that's so horrible. And they look so just tired. But like, you are at the top tier of microaggressions in the workplace. This is the top tier. This is the top tier industry where you are going to experience the most insane microaggressions in the workplace. You're going to go to them Hollywood events and they probably saying nigga every day to your face, these white people are, and you put up with it at these events because you want to network and you want to get seen and get your movie seen and all this other shit. But, they get it out loud in public. You've probably been dealing with this since going to Hollywood parties and events and shit. And they've been doing it to your face all this time in meetings and shit, saying stupid ass derogatory shit. And you just sat there and took it because, we could be making our own platforms and doing our own thing and shit like that. Shit, you can just go on you. But you don't want to take the L and potentially have to downgrade to a 1-bedroom apartment until you can build your own shit up. Like, you don't want to do that. You want to lean on a white man's money. And the white man is living off of sociopathy and shit like that that's been bred into their culture from conquering and destroying the world and epigenetics and shit like that. And you think that these people that want to see us all end up in chaos and make AI their slaves while we're just out here just no jobs and no homes and really an actual third world country at this point, you want to be out here catering to motherfuckers that want to make this into Fallout because you think that at least I saved myself and my family, and that's some bitch made shit. That is some bitch made shit. No, because if we outnumber, just like in the Bug's Life, we outnumber these motherfuckers, and you sitting up here acting like, I don't know, I just be looking at these black celebrities and I just be like, you sitting up here not saying shit because you knew this whole time, you knew that they were eating babies and molesting children and shit like that. And you just want to make sure that you hold on to your shit. And I just, I don't have sympathy for that. You held on to your shit. Good for you. And you're going to have to take the consequences that come with dealing with these baby eating pedophiles. They're going to call you nigger in the middle of a crowded room on national television, on international television. And I don't know what, and all you can do is stand there and take it. Like, I don't know, feel bad that you don't like yourself enough to, or whatever it is. I don't assume these are strangers, but like whatever it is that Because I would have popped the fuck off and been like, you know what, fuck you. I don't care about your Tourette's. You're rude. And I would have walked up that motherfucking stage and walked out of that building and left with my millions because I have my money. I don't, like, you really don't understand. Like, if I have my money, like, you don't know how calming money is for me. Once I have enough money in the bank and I'm chilling and I can do whatever I want, I don't care about what anybody thinks or says or does. I'll live most of my life by my motherfucking self if I have to. I have my money and my kitty cat and whoever else God sends in my path. Because at the end of the day, no, nigga, like, I am a thinker and a planner, and if somebody puts me into the position where I have to be homeless, where I have to give up stuff, where I'm losing money and shit like that, I'll figure it the fuck out before I touch a child. I will figure it the fuck out before I touch a child or am knowingly around motherfuckers that touch children. I don't know what to tell you. You in a whole room of motherfuckers where a good portion of them have touched babies or have eaten babies. What did you expect? What does the world expect? What are the black people in the world making these think piece videos and shit talking about this shit? Like, that's so sad. They look so tired and upset, and it's so racism, and so then divest from white people. Like, obviously the rich white folks are out here doing horrible shit. Divest. Don't show up to their award shows. Start making your own shit. Care about the money that you make that will fund your life and your family and all this other stuff, and stop giving a fuck about what these white people think. But no, you don't. I don't care what motherfuckers have been held over their head and shit like that. Nothing can be held over my head that will make me hurt a child or knowingly be around people that hurt a child and not report them to the police or try to do something. You know? So I'm just a different bitch. I just, even when I didn't like myself, there were limits to how I would prostrate myself. There were limits. And so, like, I just watch shit like this and I just be like, it's a choice. It's a choice to be in a room with these people that treat you like this. So obviously there must be some like self-esteem something going on, that no matter how much money, and LeBron over here like caping for Israel and shit like that, some sort of self-esteem something that is wrong with some of these black celebrities that makes them just cater to this shit. Because nah, nigga, I'll take the L and just go to jail. The first time you try to trap me and shit, I'll just look at you and be like, well, then I'll just go to jail. I'll just go to jail. I shouldn't have came to this party. I shouldn't have drank that drink. I shouldn't have did what I did. What I shouldn't have allowed myself to be in a space where I already was kind of feeling kind of like weird about going. And so since I allowed myself to be in this space and I drank that drink, knowing that there were rapists and murderers in this motherfucker, we in a thieves' den. I'm not gonna hurt another child. I'm not gonna come back. Just because you got that one video and picture and whatever of me doing some shit that I don't even remember doing and shit, I'm definitely not going to come back. So I guess I'm going to jail. Because doing something like that would break my soul. It would destroy something inside of me. And so now I'm good. I don't have sympathy for that. Because you put yourself in that space. You trying to change monsters, and we keep trying to change these monsters, and the monsters keep showing us that they're not going to change, and they're just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and doing the most horriblest of things, the most evilest of evils. So obviously that means we need to divest from the monsters. Like I said, if I was rich and famous, the first thing I would do with my first million, I'll give myself a couple million, is that I would just take that shit and start flipping it and make YouTube videos and shit. I'm famous enough that I could just make some YouTube videos and do some shit on my own. I don't need to, we're locked in contracts and they could sue us and blah, 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 blah. This ain't the music industry. Did they say you had to make a certain amount of movies before you could be free? Give us free? Like, I don't understand. And even the music, like, girl, like, where are your lawyers? Why aren't you having lawyers reach your initial contracts and going through some shit before signing them? We were young, we didn't know. Okay, well, you're old enough now. You're old enough now to find a loophole, to get some lawyers to find a loophole so you can get the fuck out of this shit and get the hell out. Like, I don't, And You know, like, okay, maybe there are some people in the industry that didn't know about the fact that they was molesting and eating the babies. But the ones that are that high up to be winning awards in other countries and shit, no, no, no. Then it makes you wonder, like, what did you have to do? What did you have to do to get that much attention and be a black person in this industry? Because they hate us. They hate us. Now I'm side eyeing you. They hate us. What did you have to do to get here? And what did you have to endure? Even that, because, you know, like, what did you have to endure to get here? Because, like, some of these people were molested and they're child actors and they were molested as children and shit like that. And they got that weight on them. They got that weight on their shoulders and shit. And they just think they got to just go roll with the punches and shit. And you know what? I don't have sympathy for that. I don't know what you want me to say. When you choose to be with evil, it's like having a friend that's with an abusive partner. I tried my best. I talked to you. I tried to, do my best to save you. You kept going back to that man, and now you dead. I don't know what to. I'm sad that you died, because I tried to save you, but you died. You went back and you died. I don't know. I'm gonna grieve you, but that's the relationship that the rich black people have with the rich white people. Is you're just their victims. No, because you're acting like victims. You're acting like victims and you're putting up with shit that you shouldn't be putting up with, because you look better than anybody else in the room. You sound better than anybody else in the room. On occasion, people be acting like when Beyonce sang better than anybody in that motherfucking room, but she's sitting here bowing down, scraping to win that Grammy of the year. And then the next year, they made it segregated. You didn't do nothing, girl. You just made the white people segregate us. Shit. Contemporary country. What the fuck is like Beyonce, you sing better than everybody in the room, but you were groomed by Jay-Z when you were 16. I don't know at this point as an adult, like where that's at with that. So that's none of my business. But just to watch and be like, I wouldn't even be showing up to these awards. I wouldn't give a fuck about these awards. I got my money. I can travel. I can do things. I'm free in the world. You are free. But you still want to be enslaved when you have a choice. When you're free. You're free, honey. All of y'all are free. You're freer than most of us black folks and shit. Most of us black folks are enslaved to 9 to 5s and shifts and gigs and trying to 3 or 4 jobs and shit like that. Y'all got millions in the bank. And y'all acting like slaves. I don't know what the fuck is, girl. I don't ever want to be like famous and shit. Then nigga, if that's the case, like I'm not about to deal with no shit like that. But whatever. I've been talking. Let's get into the show. That white bitch is MK Ultra. I told y'all niggas that white bitch is gonna be MK Ultra. No, because I feel like this is what needs to happen for a lot of black men that be colorists and be leaning into white supremacy and shit like that. You need to be broken. You need to see. You need to be broken to see that these motherfuckers are evil. She like the white bitch and Get Out, the sociopathic white bitch, where like they'll act completely regular and normal the whole time, and then all of a sudden, where are the keys? Where are the keys? Where are the keys? Like. Yeah, it's like a switch turns off. Those are the scariest ones. That's why I look out for people that are always happy and don't seem to have any issues and stuff like that, because you don't have one emotion all the time. That's weird. That's why I look out for people that seem to interact with me based off of needs, what do they need from me and shit like that, instead of like, trying to get to know me or see me and shit like that. You can't never be 100% with shit, but like, you can get pretty close if you just watch somebody and observe them and don't say shit. Just be in a room, just observe. I watch how people treat themselves and treat other people, because that's going to let me know the potential pattern of how you would treat me if I got close enough to you and allowed you to treat me fucked up. And this nigga think that this girl is his friend. They fucking it's just gross. I hate when they have sex. I hate when they kiss. They just don't look attractive together. They don't look attractive together. No, because you already showed us him being with his godlike body over here with this black goddess, and how magical and mystical that shit looked with them being together like that. And then you downgrade it, like we downgrade. That's what we do. We downgrade, and you know. So no, he's gonna find out. He's gonna find out that she's evil. Like, so basically, I'm starting with this because I was justified. I felt so justified. I was like, oh, you know, they did an interview. Him, Aldous Hodge, and the dude that plays the director in the show, and James Patterson, and they did an interview, and it was on Instagram, and basically, like, they're expanding the universe, so I don't think this was in any of the books, and James Patterson was like, yeah, go ahead, like y'all involving stuff that's actually happening in government and shit, and I was like, and they was just laughing. I was like, yes. I just hope people don't just take this as entertainment, and then, like, it numbs them to what the reality of what's happening in the world, and they're eating babies. They're eating the babies. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the humans. They're molesting the children. Oh God. Yes. And they confirmed that it was like, yeah, this is stuff that's happening in government right now. I was like, yes, it is. Bitch, I mean, you know it from the beginning, but it's just to have James Patterson, the nigga that wrote the book, confirm it, and that he was okay with them expanding the universe and actually doing a show about what's happening in government right now and shit like that. It's just a warm feeling inside my spirit. You know, it does. It's like they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the babies, they're molesting the children. Yes. And so, like, basically, the little man, she had him try to break through a firewall so she could find the main nigga and tell him that she's gonna figure out how to get rid of the gun and shit, right? The little man broke into the firewall and saw her sitting there with a soldier, and the soldier was over there crashing the hell out, talking about, I have nightmares and da. And then she had him playing with this little baby toy where you put the little blocks and the shapes and stuff. And then he started smashing, and he couldn't get the block into the right shape. And then he started smashing his face into the shape until the block went into his eye. And then he passed out. She's just sitting there cool as a cucumber, cool as a sociopath. And then she just turns around and looks at the camera, cool as a cucumber, no issues on her face. And then this nigga goes, these evil motherfuckers and shit. And I was like, yes. See, if I was that nigga, I would have posted that shit everywhere, and then I would have disappeared, and then that bitch would have disappeared, you know, because, you know, the shit's posted, so now the niggas gonna come after her. It is what it is. You shouldn't have had the criminal that wasn't smart. You got a room, and then he found this Asian dude that's mute and shit, and she trying to say, like, oh, he can't talk, and he was like, don't underestimate motherfuckers because they got disabilities and shit, bitch. And I was like, right, you evil devil, bitch. Oh, I was justified. I felt good. I felt fucking good. And so, like, she goes in the back room, and it's this room full of Asian motherfuckers and shit. So you got all these people searching up protected files of you doing some fuck shit. Maybe she didn't know it was in the protected files, but whatever the case, whatever was in it would implicate her in some shit. And she just, like, has these room full of people. Now all the people in the room know, not just this little man, all the people in the room know what the fuck she was on and shit. And so any of them could leak that shit to the internet, and that would be magical. I hope they do. I hope she gets hers. I hope Cross sees it, and I hope he crashes the hell out because he put his penis inside of a baby eating bitch. And then he crashes the hell out because you trusted the wrong person. I don't know. You trusted the wrong person. You shouldn't be fucking with these white bitches. You had a beautiful black woman and you risked her life, and that's why she don't want to talk to you. Maybe you should, like, work on the lying and the stuff like that so that she'll talk to you again. That's all she wanted, was for you to stop lying, for you to say that I am not going to lie to you anymore. That's all she wanted. And this nigga trying to gaslight her into being okay with his sorry, and he got past his anger issues. That's what he was trying to do. And I was just like, absolutely not. She told you what she wanted. She was very clear. Every time you ask her, she tells you, and you try to gaslight and be like, well, what else could you want? It was a mistake. Da-da-da. I want you to tell me that you're not going to lie to me anymore, nigga. That's what I want you to tell me. I want you, and then you just go silent. You just go silent. Not lying does not mean you have to give away confidential information. Not lying could just mean like giving a bitch a heads up when somebody's after you without naming the names or going into details and being like, yeah, like they're after me and I just want to make sure you're safe, and you know, I just want to let you know because I know you're out there by yourself in the world at work or some shit, and I just want to make sure that you're okay. So just, you know, I'm going to put like a guard detail on you, or I'm just going to just give me your location or something like that. You don't have to go into detail. I just think she wants to know if somebody's after you. And so, you know, he keeps gaslighting her into, oh, I apologize. It was a mistake. I worked on my anger. Da, la, 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 la. And that's not what she's asking you about. That's not what she has been asking you about this whole entire time. And so you get what you deserve. I don't care. I saw somebody was commenting on the cross thing on Instagram. It was like, I don't even know why she's still upset. Like black, because she's traumatized. Black women get traumatized because we're humans and we have trauma responses and we get scared. And when the person that we're trying to tell to figure it out doesn't want to figure it out and gaslights us and things like that, then what happens is that, you know, we're not putting up with it. But we gonna take that dick though. Like, he was standing there at the doorway looking chocolatey and tasty, full and everything and shit. I'm gonna get my lick back, nigga. Like, this is a goodbye fuck. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not mad at her at all. I would have did the same thing. He was over there being seductive. He was seducing, and his whole hand went across the breadth of her upper back. I like good hands. I like pretty hands. I don't know why. I like strong, pretty hands. Like, not thin-fingered hands. That shit looks nasty, too. Just to me. I mean, in general, to other people, it probably isn't nasty. But to me, I don't like niggas with thin fingers. Like, it looks gross. It's like bones and shit, nigga. That's to me, though. Just to me. Like, that makes me feel that way. He got big old strong, nicely manicured hands. They look muscly and shit, nigga. I would have took that dick too. I don't know what you want me to say or do or feel or think, but I would have took that dick and ran, bitch. I don't know. But anyway, so we're gonna figure out in the next episode probably just how evil this white woman is. No, because if he was fucking her from jump, then it would have just been like, okay, whatever, they fucking white bitches. It's another one of them shows. No, but you set us up to believe that this was blackity black. But then Center set us up to make us believe it was blackity black, and the nigga walked off with a white woman. So I don't know. He couldn't leave one black woman alive, but you know, like, that's none of my business. But the Latin lady, that shit pissed me off. No, so the dude, the Latin dude that came to her door, so apparently he's been vigilanteing it this whole time, trying to collect information and evidence on this nigga's company and what he's been doing and how he's been trafficking children and all this other stuff. And he got all this information, and because the police was on his trail, he shows up at her door talking about, I stayed away for 2 years because, you know, I didn't want to get you in trouble or whatever the fuck, but now that the police is on my trail, I realize I can't do anything more or whatever the fuck. You could have mailed that shit to her. You could have left that shit on her doorstep and left. You wanted to meet that bitch because you idolized and pedestalized this hoe. And then what happens is she falls in love in a couple days. I think they tried to slip in a little novella in the middle of this fucking episode. And I just feel like you can't do novella unless it's drama all the way through. Because it didn't make any sense. Like, Frankenstein was a novella. That was drama all the way through. Just yelling and screaming, abusing your child, doing all this, marrying, trying to fuck your brother's wife and all this shit. Then your son try to be with your brother's fiance and all of that drama and shit. But no, you can't slip no novella because it didn't make sense, because it basically threw her off over some dick after 2 days. this bitch is in love after 2 days over some dick. I know she been traumatized and, you know, attachment issues, and they both been through similar things and experienced stuff, and I don't care. It was poorly written. No, because they always want to take powerful bitches down a peg. They did it with the Queen of Dragons. They ruined that fucking show. No, they ruined Game of Thrones. I don't care what you're talking about. They did it with the Scarlet Witch. Like, no, she could live. She could live. She could figure it out. She could live. But no, all these powerful women that are too powerful to live, so they end up either sacrificing themselves for the male character. I saw a video about this on Instagram. They either sacrifice themselves for the male character, or they just die at the end because they were too powerful to live. But you got Superman still flying around the world doing his shit. You know, like, the niggas that are super powerful, they can die, they can live forever. The bitches that are too powerful, no, we need to either take them down a peg, or we need to, you know, kill them off. And I just didn't agree with this nigga coming in, and after 2 days, this bad bitch that's been, like, doing the thing, and we got a little emotional in the Mexican village and shit. That was a vibe, you know, show she had emotions, and she's traumatized, and she been through shit. But then to have this random nigga come into her life, and because he worships the ground she walks on, has a tattoo of this bitch across his chest, even though he ain't even met the bitch before. Basically he pedestalized her. And, you know, like, I just... 2 days he was in love, and Auntie was trying to tell her, like, why are you letting him in our house? The police have found him at least 3 times. They're gonna find him with you, and and then take him to the casino that you always go to, so your face is all over the cameras and shit, nigga. So now they got your face because the police found the little gambling chip in the dude's place, and found out that it belonged to the casino that he would roam around and shit. And so, like, they go in there looking for him. They can't find him. So Cross sits at one of the tables and starts to gamble. And then the dude that is with her sees Cross get out of his car and stuff, and calls her. And this bitch gonna go full barefaced out into the floor of the casino, sit next to this nigga, and talk to this nigga. I don't know why they would have her do that. I don't know why they would have her be so messy when this whole time she hasn't been messy. So she's messy over a nigga. But Cross is being messy with this white woman, and Cross don't know that white woman is MK Ultra. That's not till later. She fully knows what she's doing. She knows that that's the police. She knows that the police is following this nigga. And she went full barefaced in front of this nigga and talked to him and pretended like she was one of the patrons of the place. So when they looked on the cameras at the casino, because the casino cameras can spot you off of nothing, and found him, they also saw her sitting down the way at the slot machines. And he remembered her from the table from the night before. And he put 2 and 2 together because the nigga's smart. And, you know, they went after her and started chasing her because she was still in the casino. So she runs out of the casino and runs up to his room. And then, like, she basically has to kill him. And he's like, yeah, I should die because I'm making a problem for you. And I was just like, I feel like you knew this before you knocked on her door and stood at the door and waited for her to open it. I feel like you knew that, and you still engaged. We're just humans, and we have feelings and emotions, and no, I don't care. I don't care. You don't, because my pattern recognition is being fucked up when you throw in random shit like this. So they try to turn into a novella in the middle of the damn episode, and it didn't make sense because this bitch ain't been showing this personality trait since jump. She got a little emotional when she went to the Mexican town because, you know, that's where her mom and them kids was from. But that didn't make her slip up. That didn't make her stop doing what she needed to do. So, like, this nigga comes along, and after 2 days she's in love, and she's showing her face to everybody. Like, that doesn't... See how that doesn't make sense? See how that doesn't make sense? Like, this bitch is, like, she's sneaking onto islands, killing motherfuckers and shit. She's sending her henchman out to kill other motherfucking shit. And you just... That's what... Okay. So, the man ends up dead, right? Because he takes the gun and shoots himself in the stomach or gut or wherever, the diaphragm, wherever it was. And he ends up dead, right? And so Cross and the evil bitch run into the room. No, she's evil at this point. She MK Ultra and shit. If they make it so that they make that shit okay, and that she's still with this nigga, the audacity of it, I would just be like, so you don't care that this bitch is a full like sociopath and was in here just blank face watching motherfuckers shove bricks into their forehead and taking notes like it was nothing, and so you're okay with that? My predictions so far have been true. We're on the 4th episode. We got 4 more to go. I'm going to believe in my spirit and soul that it's going to keep being true, and he's going to have a fucking meltdown, a breakdown, and turn into the person that he's supposed to be, instead of still fucking around with these white people and being so attached to his job that he's putting black people in danger. So you put black people in danger when you tackle that boy and beat him up. You putting your black girlfriend in danger for this fucking job. And like, who else knows? Like, he ain't been around his kids. Like, because of this case, he ain't around his kids, so his kids don't even get to see him that often. I just need a brain recalibration. And apparently, because we're not going to therapy, the trauma is going to recalibrate him into a better nigga. The trauma of realizing that he put his penis in a baby eater and she was playing it off so well. That's why you gotta be careful. That's why you gotta be careful around these motherfuckers, because they're actors. They're actors and they're pretenders. And they can very much well so pretend to be regular ass motherfucking people, just like this bitch did, just like that bitch in Get Out did. And then until you're in danger or until you need their help, and then the blank look in their eyes and the silence that comes upon them, the eerie silence that lets you know that there is nothing in there. And there has never been anything in there. And if they've been pretending this whole time that there's something in there, but there was never anything in there, that's the shit that you need to clock, because them type of motherfuckers, they're very rare, you know. Hollywood is full of them, but most of us don't mingle amongst these Hollywood motherfuckers. Most of us is just mingling amongst ourselves, regular ass people. So, you know, like, but regular ass people can do that shit too. Regular ass sociopaths can do that shit too. And then all of a sudden the darkness comes over their eyes, they're soulless, and you realize that there has never been anything there. The eyes have always been empty. And so, you know, I'm just careful. I'm just careful who I associate myself with, because I can notice patterns and I can see stuff, but I'm not God. I can't see everything, nigga. So like, if you in an industry where there's a bunch of baby eaters and pedophiles and shit, I'm be side-eyeing you, wondering, did you know, like, were you aware? Did you participate? Like, what? Can barely watch a movie nowadays and shit, and just wondering. Now every movie I watch, I'll be like, I wonder if they ate babies. They're talking about Tom Hanks is a fucking pedophile and shit, and all this other stuff. I'm like, I can't watch Forrest Gump. I like Forrest Gump. I can't watch Forrest Gump now, because all I'm seeing is Tom Hanks eating a baby every time I think about Forrest Gump. I can't have that negative energy around me. I can't. Like, you need to love yourself. That's why I always say you need to love yourself in order to be around me. You need to love yourself first and foremost. Because when you love yourself first and foremost, nobody can compromise you. You'll take what you have to take. You'll take the punches. You'll take losing shit. Because what I have inside me is greater than anything that you can give me, even money. Even gold, jewels, diamonds. Who I am inside is priceless. And I'm not going to have you tarnish my pricelessness, honey. Like, I'm not going to have you tarnish my pricelessness. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say to you. You're not tarnishing the gold inside of me. But some people don't realize the gold inside of themselves. We all have it. We all have gold, platinum, diamonds, rubies. Something even greater than rocks inside of us. Okay? And they don't realize that they have God inside of them, and so they allow the God inside of them to be tarnished and destroyed and broken and torn up and all sorts of things because they never knew that they had God inside of them. They were never taught, because you have to be taught that most of the time. You got those rare few ones that still maintain their sense of self through a shit ton of hardships and bullshit, and then they figure it out and go to therapy at some point and they rebuild the sense of self that was broken down and they figure it out. But most people, like, they have to be taught that they have God inside of them. That's what your parents are for. And if you have decent parents, they'll teach you that. And most of us, we didn't have decent parents, or we didn't have parents who were in touch with our own emotions in a healthy way. So they were decent, but they didn't teach us how to be in touch with ourselves, really, because they weren't in touch with themselves in a certain way. They didn't ask how our day was when it came to our emotions, like, how were you feeling today? Were you happy? Were you sad? Let me teach you emotion. Let me take out this emotion chart when you're 5 and teach you emotion words. Let me play emotion games with you and shit like that. And they don't think to do that because they weren't taught to do that. So absolutely not. Like, you have people out here that are not connected with themselves, and so they're easily manipulated and malleable. And then those people are manipulated by the most evil people in the world. People that hate children are capable of any sort of evil and chaos. You hate the most innocent of us. You hate the most innocent of us that have done nothing to you. That means that you're capable of any type of evil. That I don't trust you. I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be involved with you because you're an op. You are the biggest op. Niggas that come into women's life and like diminish and tarnish who they are and tear them down, those are ops, right? But niggas that hate children, those are the biggest ops. And it don't matter if you love your children. I mean, I really hesitate to say how much can you really love your children if you're okay with other children being harmed, like that bitch in the second episode or whatever episode that was where she sliced her neck. How you sit up here and beg for your children's life when you participated in trafficking and sex trade of other children. And you didn't care how they ended up. You didn't care what happened to them. Their lives didn't matter to you. Only your children's lives matter to you. And that's disgusting. You hate children. You hate children. Unless you love all children and see them as integral parts of humanity. You don't have to want to have children. That's okay. No one's saying you have to want to have children to love all children and see them as integral parts of humanity that are innocent and haven't done anything to anybody. You know, like, you can still not want that responsibility because that's a big responsibility and you may not be capable of managing that big responsibility, and that is valid and that is righteous, and, you know, you are saving a child from potentially, like, growing up in a household where they may not feel fully loved. But, like, hating children, the mere sight of children, like, there were niggas on the internet, like, years ago talking about, like, childless and so happy. So what? It's a choice. You chose to not have children, and these people, like, some of them chose, some of them, you know, it just happened. And so, like, and they didn't have an environment where they could get an abortion or put them up for adoption. I'm not going to sit up here and denigrate them and make them feel bad. They probably love their children. A lot of them probably do, and you just chose not to have children. It's just choices. The choices don't mean that either one is a bad choice. They're just choices. And so, no, the biggest ops that you will find is motherfuckers that hate children, and these silent motherfuckers that aren't saying anything in this industry, especially the black people, because that's my people. Now it's making me question, does your silence mean you're a pedophile? Does your silence mean that you hate children? Does your silence mean that, like, you've tasted the baby? Like, what is your silence? And I just really want to believe most of their silence just means that they're scared. And they don't want their shit taken away. Well, I would hope. That's just the wishful thinking. I would hope. But it's like, you ain't got no dignity? Damn. Motherfuckers be like, damn your dignity and shit. But, like, No, this is why dignity is important, because without dignity, you can be talked into any motherfucking thing and shit, nigga. Absolutely. Girl, without dignity, you can be talked into any motherfucking thing. And I am not going to tarnish my soul for eternity. Like, after death is eternity. There is another life that you're going to live, and it's going to be forever. You're never going to die in that life. Don't you want to go somewhere where you can spend your eternity in peace? Or like, you don't know peace here, so why would you care about peace there? That's why they're ops. That's why they're the biggest ops. You don't know, and you're mad that these little babies know peace because they're little babies, and little babies are innocent little babies, and they know peace, a peace that you will never know. And so you are mad about it, and so you need to snatch their peace from them so that you can feel like there are people around you who feel the same thing as you. And I just, girl, la 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 la. I can't do it. I want to know peace. I want to strive for peace. I want to climb the mountain for peace. I will do what I need to do if I know that peace is at the end of it. And doing that shit, you will never know peace. You'll just be really rich and really sad all the time. What's the point of having money if you can't be happy? Like, you'll be really rich and hate yourself so much that you do horrible things and you have addictions and you are depressed and all the things. It's horrible. And I just really I don't have it. I don't have it to live my life with my soul in turmoil. Like, I just don't have that. And so y'all motherfuckers sitting up here, you black celebrities ain't saying shit. Are you pedophiles too? Are you? Infancy to 18. That's a child. When you 18, it still looks weird when a 30-year-old is with an 18-year-old. When a 40, 50-year-old is with an 18-year-old, that still looks weird. But at that point, it's like, I'm not involved with those people that choose to date 18-year-olds when they're 50. Mm-hmm. Leonardo DiCaprio. But like, I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, you hate children and you're op and shit. But you know, it's still gross. It's still ill. I remember being 18. I think it's because a lot of people don't remember being children. They don't remember being children. They don't remember how they felt. They blocked most of it out or dissociated through most of it because they were traumatized in their childhood, so they don't remember none of it. But I tell you, do the work. Do the work and remember being a child. Because once you remember being a child, that starts to develop the empathy for children. Like, oh, I remember being 5, and like, I remember when I was 5, and like, no, I was 4. And my mom, I think my mom had just told me that October is my half birthday. And so I remember going to like a family event and some shit in Pasadena with some of my cousins, but they were like elderly cousins that were my grandmother's like nephews and shit like that. And I was going around the whole party just letting everybody know I'm 4.5. I was just walking up and they were just like, oh. I was just walking up to everybody talking about, I'm 4.5. I'm 4.5. I don't know, for some reason I was like, that counts as my birthday. It's my birthday. And I went up to damn near everybody in that party. They was probably talking shit too. Like, did you know? They probably went up to my mom and was like, you know, Jasmine walking around telling everybody she's 4.5, right? And I just felt so cool. I was just like, that's my half birthday, and it's almost my birthday, and I'm 4.5. Oh my gosh. And nobody made me feel bad about it. I think because I was 4. Like, you know, I was 4.5. But nobody made me feel bad. They thought it was cute because I was 4.5. If I was 10 or 10.5, they'd probably be looking at me like, go sit down. Somebody probably did say that after a while. It probably got annoying and shit. I was probably stimming or some shit too. I don't know. I had to know divergencies and shit. But no, it was a fascinating idea. But I think of moments like that and how I felt emotionally, how I felt physically in my body, just remembering being smaller, what my body felt like, remembering how I felt like when interacting with people, especially older people, and how they would treat me, and how I would internalize all of that as a child, like, because I was a little weirdo and shit, and people were mean, and like I had aunts and that were just like mean and shit, and I didn't understand why they were mean. And like I didn't really understand it. I was just like, well, am I doing something bad? Like I hate it. Like I did the idea of visiting my aunts and uncles in their houses and stuff. It was cool because they lived in big ass houses with pools and shit like that. They had money and shit. And so the idea of going and playing in their big ass house and their pool was exciting. But then, like, I had to also begrudgingly, like, be like, I hope they're not fucking mean to me. I hope they're not mean when I go to their house today. I don't. But they got a pool, though. And a big screen television. And it was like this weird juxtaposition. And so when I'm interacting with kids and I realize, and I think back to how everything was so impactful to me as a child because I didn't know. It was new. I was new in the world. I didn't know anything. I try to monitor how I interact with kids. Not to the point where I'm like hyper vigilant and shit. Like I still talk to them like regular and shit. But like I try not to say anything offhandedly that would come across as mean or rude. Because that sticks with children especially. And they remember that shit for the rest of their life. You don't have a memory of somebody being mean or rude to you as a child that stuck with you up until today. Right. So when you're mean or rude to children, that shit sticks with them until they get help for it. And so, I try not to say shit like that because I be rambling on and saying random shit, Then we got this little Latin boy. I forgot to mention that. So the little Latin boy that was held at gunpoint by the dude in the truck, right? So they got him at Cross's house with his kids, and I think they think that he's connected to like all this. He has a sister that, or maybe they don't think he's connected to all this. They just felt bad for him or something because like his sister is in one of the factories of the rich dude from Scream, right? And like I used to think he was so attractive in Scream though when he was young. I don't know why. Him and Marlon Wayans, but Marlon Wayans is attractive though. He just got some shit going on. I would never just be. No, he got some shit. Nah, and after he was caping for Diddy and shit, I was just like, oh, this nigga got. Okay. It's if I ever were to meet him, it's like a quick hi and bye. Like, fuck away from whatever. Like, damn. So, that motherfuckers is traumatized. They're traumatized. I see why now. Who knows what that nigga had to put up with, endure, or participate in to get to where, like, I would hope, because I would hope the Wayans family is a tribe. So I would hope. But, like, they would be protective of the blackness and the family and the culture, and they wouldn't allow motherfuckers to infiltrate. But, like, who fucking knows? Because these are strangers. You don't know who was involved and who wasn't, who knew, who didn't. Oh, my God. It's so hard to watch cinema. I'm a cinephile, too. I hate it. Be like, as I find out names, I'll just stop watching their shit. Like, I can't watch any Tom Hanks movies. I stopped watching Tom Cruise movies because he's a Scientologist, and they be taking people from their families and shit, and so I don't know whatever else they may be doing and shit. I don't want to be involved in it because it's energy. The energy you allow yourself to be around infiltrates your spirit, even if you're not participating in the actions that they're doing to cause that energy. It infiltrates your spirit just to know that it's happening. Because that's why we have empathy. And it'll either kill your empathy until you have none left, or it'll send you into some drug-induced spiral, or you have some kind of weird addiction and you yelling in the middle of the street and shave your hair off like Britney Spears was and shit. Like, I don't even, like, when I see people with mental health issues in the streets and shit, I just be like, God bless. I don't know what you went through to put you here, but it must have been some extreme ass shit. And so, any of us, that could be any of us at any moment. And I just, God bless. But no, like I don't even watch Tom Cruise movies because like I can't be fucking with Scientology. That's the energy. They calling on demons and spirits and shit. At this point, I need to be religious with it because they're over there worshiping demons. Okay, okay. I am a spiritual person and I worship God, so I'm gonna call on God to heal and destroy and get rid of the demons. So they're worshiping demons. Demons was in the Bible. You know the Bible has been edited and rewritten by, but the common theme of the Bible is love. And so I have to believe that common theme matters. And so, like demons was in the Bible, demons is in real life. Witches was in the Bible, witches is in real life. Ain't nothing wrong with a witch. That's just a religion. I'm just saying, like all things that we consider to be like, oh, mythical and whatever, that's in the Bible and shit. And so, you know what, since I'm religious, I'm spiritual, I'll say. And my deity is God. I'm gonna believe a good portion of what the Bible says, and they calling up demons, so I'm gonna call up Jesus. I don't know what to tell you. Like whatever your deity is, you need to be worshiping that deity and calling up that deity, as long as it's a good deity that is not demonic and evil. And we need all the deities that to battle this evil, because the people with money, they don't give a fuck. The people of color, the black people, they don't care. The dead eyes, because that's their dead eyes. The eyes are dead. They don't care. And so, he had this little Latin boy from the detention center and shit. I was like, when he was sitting in the detention center talking to him and shit, I didn't know that he was going to take him. I didn't think I heard, Lil John, Long John, the Old Spice nigga, whatever his name is, he asked him to go get that little boy out of the detention center and shit, right? And so, like, he got that little boy out of the detention center. I was just sitting there before he got the boy. I didn't hear him say that, so I was just like, look at you, about showing this child your kids who get to sleep in soft beds while this little baby has to sleep on this pallet on the floor. I was like, why are you in here bothering this child that has to sleep on this pallet? And then I felt bad because when he said he was taking that little baby, there was a little baby next to him and shit. Like, I was just like, and there was babies all around them cages, but the little baby next to him specifically, I was like, they heard that this man was going to take him away from here to a soft bed, a warm house, food that tastes good, all of it. I hurt for that little baby that had to lay there on their side listening to that, and they couldn't do nothing about it. I hurt for that little baby. But he took that little baby to his house, and they put him in school, and he's in foster care now or whatever with his kids and stuff. And like, his sister is at one of the factories from the nigga from Screams, that he owns and shit. And I just felt like in my spirit that, see, they're doing this so that when they reveal that they're eating the they're showing you how deep his heart is for the children, right? So that when they reveal that these motherfuckers been eating and molesting children, oh, it's gonna tear, it's gonna rip it out, and then that the bitch is a MK Ultra and was putting blocks in niggas' heads, staring at them and didn't care. Like, I want a complete tear down, a complete and total tearing down of the spirit. And I want to watch this nigga be rebuilt. That is cinema, chef's kiss. I want to see this black man be rebuilt into blackness, into righteousness, into glory. Oh God, once he realizes that, no nigga, this shit that you think is classified and that you couldn't tell your girlfriend that a nigga was chasing you and shit like that, and that he could chase her, this shit that you put over your woman, this shit that you thought that you could be her protector and she couldn't protect herself, so why even tell her? Like, this shit is a glass house, and it's, you gotta do is throw a rock and it'll break, honey. This shit don't matter like you thought it did. And you put people's lives at risk for some shit that didn't matter like you thought it did. because they eating babies and they all a part of it, and they MK Ultra and motherfuckers, and they don't care, and the bitch you stuck your penis in was MK Ultra and she didn't give a fuck. Like, oh, the rebirth, the regeneration, the rejuvenation of his soul. This would be a magical thing, because this doesn't, you don't get to see black men reborn into something better. They be staying the same and being like just stupid and shit, and you know. So I love black men. I love black men, but I see the brokenness in them. I see the brokenness in black women. But it's a lot of us are going to therapy. A good majority over black men are going to therapy. So we are in mass fixing ourselves. Black men are trying here and there little dribble drabbles and shit like that, but like, to have it I just want to see it on the television. I just want to see this man reborn. I want to see him on his knees apologizing, crying to that black woman. I want to see it. I want to see. Oh, God. Sorry I lied. I'm sorry that I didn't listen to you. I'm sorry I gaslit you. I'm sorry I made you feel like you were unsafe with me. Because I am unsafe with myself. And I was leaning on this organization, this system to prop me up. And no, this is what's important right here. This woman, my family and shit, nigga. Me, I'm important, nigga. Not these motherfuckers that are eating babies. Let's take them all down, nigga. Magnifique. If it don't turn out like that, I'm gonna be upset. If it don't turn out like that, I will be charged. I will be upset. I'll be like, these motherfuckers on this motherfucking show gave leniency to this evil ass white woman who was killing motherfuckers, and then they arrested this Latin woman, and they only arrested one billionaire and said the rest could be free in the world and shit. Fuck you, bitches. I want to see the whole system torn down. I want you to show this is because then this will be a blueprint. This would be a blueprint, a soft blueprint, because you need motherfuckers with special sets of skills to do some shit like this that aren't going to be distracted by 2-day dick. We were children. We had the same childhood. Shut up. That wasn't the pattern you established in the beginning. Fuck you, bitches. We're unlayering, we're unpeeling, we're revealing. No, this was a humongous unlayering. Like, no, the mission is more important because the babies are more important. But you're healed, so no. This is a choice made by people. You could have made a different choice. That bitch face is out there, nigga. Like, but how else would he have he could have found out a different, I don't know how he could have found out, but he could have found out. He could have found out a different way without her compromising herself like that and make herself look fucking stupid. I don't care. I said what I said. But he got this little baby, right? So I really think it's the build-up. But the little baby sister is a nigga from Scream's, little factory. And they got the innocent little children packing meat and doing all this random shit, right? And so, like, they don't know where each other is at. Like, the little boy knows she's in Toledo, Ohio, but he doesn't know where she's at, right? And the factory gets raided, right? And they try to hide all the people in the back, right? But then one of the dudes, I guess he didn't go to the back, and so they found out, the people that raided the place found out that, this nigga, they holding hostages and slaves in here, right? No, we're not gonna call them illegals. No, nobody is illegal in God's planet. They are harboring slaves in this factory. Children slaves. we need to do something about it. We need to do something about it. So like the factory got shut down, and now he's trying to find a dude that's supposed to help him with that, to keep the slaves hidden and shit. And they had already killed the dude, so now he got to figure out his PR situation and whatever the fuck. You know, he was whining, walking around his house barefoot, all sorts of shit. You know, I just hate a barefoot white person. I just feel like I be barefoot on my videos. I'm in my house, I'm barefoot, I don't give a fuck. But I can tell you what I don't like while doing what I... You're a hypocrite. I don't give a fuck. This is my motherfucking house, nigga. I don't like a barefoot white person. Because it just harkens back to like them hippy dippy white bitches and niggas that would be like, oh, peace and love and shit, and we dirty and shit, and we're pure. We're pure, but we're dirty. And then they still be racist and shit. Like, you walking around barefoot, like being in nature and shit, and want to be close and connected to the earth and all this other bullshit, but you still racist? You're still, all people aren't free? You know what I'm hating right now? And I'll fail for it too, but I was posting about other things too, so I wasn't just posting about that little monkey with the little stuffed animal monkey that was like put in a zoo in like, I think China or some shit. And like he was separated, his mom had rejected him or something, and so he just attached himself to this little stuffed animal monkey, and it was cute. It was cute. I think this is brainwashing by the media though, to make us feel so attached to animals that we forget about humans though. Because then I saw a post after a couple days of, I posted about the monkey, but I was posting about Palestine and Sudan and the baby eaters and Congo too, so shut the fuck up. And like I saw this post, and the dude was like, all these white people like feel bad for this monkey, so they're capable of empathy and shit, but don't feel bad for these little Palestinian babies that are being charboiled and shit out in the world. And I was just like, that is the truth. Oh, it was a bunch of white people posting the little monkey, and I was just like, that, how you gonna feel sad for this little animal, but you can't be sad for them little babies that are being burnt to bits in that country. I don't know what's the... I don't know what's the, you know. And then Lil Jon, he over here trying to exonerate his mother. He's trying to figure out, like, did she kill a nigga and shit. And then he goes and talks to one of the dudes that associated with it, and it's in this like fake ass laundromat and shit. I was just like, it wouldn't be that easy. It would be behind a fucking door. It would be a real laundromat in front, and it would be behind a fucking door. It wouldn't be behind no fake ass curtain of clothes. Shit, nigga, shut up. And then like she says she's associated with some dude, so he goes back and he's like, the dude said she was associated with this dude, and she's like, I don't even know him. I don't even know. And then she's like, would your mama lie to you? And every single time I watched this over and over again, every single time she said that, I was like, yep, you would. Like, why would you lie? You abandoned him. And then wouldn't let motherfuckers adopt him and shit. Like, if you capable of that, then you capable of lying. Like, what? No, nefarious built on top of nefarious, built on top of nefarious, lovely. And so, yeah, like, no, you lying. You lying. Mm-hmm. You lying or he lying. Somebody lying. So we got to figure out who lying. But we not going to automatically just believe that you're not lying. Like, that's stupid. That nigga don't know you, bitch. Like, why would he just believe you? Like, that's not logical. It does not make sense. Nonsensical. That's the word. But no, I think that's all of the shit. I was all over the place because I'm just appalled. Every day I be thinking about them little babies. You just, like, what do? I seen this video, this dude, he started marching in the middle of New York talking about the baby eaters and the pedophiles and the government and shit, and there was like a couple people behind him. And right now I'm just like, is that all we can get to march? Like, but I was happy somebody came out, because I'm not out there, so I can't be talking shit, because, you know, I just can talk about it on my platforms and keep talking about it until like something happens. I don't know. I just know I'm not gonna compromise myself. And I'm just looking at all these other black celebrities, and I'm just like, how did y'all compromise yourself? Was it just simply by knowing? Was it by participating? Because your silence is questionable. your silence on a lot of topics are questionable. And so, most of these topics involve children. ICE kidnapping children. They burning the babies over there in Palestine and Sudan and Congo, along with the adults and shit like that. So and then on top of that, the elites have been eating babies for 100 million years and shit, however long they've been alive. I don't know. And so the silence is very loud, and I don't know. Because I'm not going to outright call people some shit that I ain't seen no clear evidence that they are. Because that's fucked up, right? But when you associate, you are your 5 closest associates. So when you're associating, working with, being involved with, networking with, I have, and not saying a damn thing, I have to wonder. And it's not even something I can be like, well, that's none of my business, because it's children and it is my business. Children are always my business. Children should be all of our business. Yes, we're a village. We should be a village, a community, a worldwide community that protects the children, right? That's how we should be. But, white supremacy, colonialism split us all up, made us all crazy and shit. But I can't even watch this show without wondering, like, are you doing this just to get ahead of something? Are we bringing this topic up and, to get ahead of something? See, now and then I have to wonder, like, the black people, the black celebrities that do talk about it and are saying some shit, are they saying it because they mean it, or are they saying it to get ahead of something? See when you compromise your spirit, it's hard to believe anything that comes out of your mouth, whether it's good or bad, because you don't 100% know, like, really, because that's some type of evil that, like, just being near it is like, just being near it is insanity. So, like, to trust somebody that's been near that type of evil, that breathes that air. So even if they do, like, but I'd rather they say something than say nothing, regardless of the little twinge, the little worry that I would have. Be brave. Some of us are brave. Like the song and the fucking thing. Every time that song comes on, I'll be like, some of us are brave. Some of us are brave. Some of us are brave. Like, it's brave for me to talk about this shit. If my YouTube channel ever actually blew the fuck up, nigga, like, who knows what could happen to me? But I'd rather talk about it than have it sitting inside of me, because when you have the neurodivergencies and you have sensitive emotions and shit, the bad things that happen in your life feel really, really, really unbearably bad. Well, the good things feel euphoric. The good things feel like you're on a drug. That's why stimming feels so good. Feels like a drug. Like, the things that you do. That's why you, like, hyperfixation is such a thing. The burst of dopamine and adrenaline that happens with hyperfixation, your body will naturally make you high when you feel good things. And that's so magical. Now, there are some people with neurodivergencies where it's intense and they are bedridden, or they are developmentally delayed so badly that they will always be like a young age mentally, and that is so, I'm not gonna be like it's great having, no, because there are people that are suffering and shit, but I'm just saying that there's good parts to it. And if you can hyperfixate like that and stuff, it's amazing. So, like, this shit feels horrible. Like, I'm just in hell right now. Every single day I feel like something's sitting on my chest and I can't breathe. So it's either talk about it or, like, oh God, where would that pain lead me? That's the type of pain that would lead you to, like, harm yourself. Like I said in my last video, that's the type of pain that leads you, like, have an addiction and be doing heroin and shit like that just to completely numb yourself out. Like, I can't. No, like, I get that same feeling from just talking about it. that release, that relief. I get that from just talking about it. I don't have to even consider going into that type of a dark space, because it's like every time I talk about it, it's just like air. It's like more of it and more of it is coming out of me, and it's just amazing. So I'm not gonna not talk about. I don't know what the fuck to say. So if all I can do is talk about it, then I'm just gonna talk about it. I'm glad Cross is doing this. God, see, I be telling y'all niggas, God be doing shit for me. And like the fact that I needed an outlet to talk about this without sounding crazy, like literally you would have got this on every Abbott Elementary episode, a whole long spiel about, I wonder if those babies are safe on that set. So me talking about it in Cross is helping me get rid of that, so that I'm still gonna talk about it on Abbott Elementary, but like it's not gonna be this intense. I'll give you that. It won't be this intense. It'll probably just be like a welcome back to the world where they're eating babies. Yes. Let's get into this show. Like, you know, and I'll talk about the show, and maybe if something comes up that makes me think about it, I'll talk a little bit about it. But no, I needed this. Like, I don't care if nobody watches this shit. I need to get this shit off my chest, because I feel sick every fucking day. Oh my gosh, this shit is horrible. So these motherfuckers are out here dissociating and sitting on these type of emotions and acting like they don't feel this shit. And for some of them, it burns through their reserves of empathy to the point where they can just be dead inside and dead-eyed. And like, you know, the aura of their empathy that's still kind of there, they can access it sometimes just to pretend to be normal. So people won't see the dead look in their eyes and shit. Girl. Oh, this sounds like a horrible life to live. I don't want to live like that. In the name of Jesus, don't ever let me have to live like that. In the name of God, absolutely not. Living in lies instead of in truth. Like, I'll tell a lie here and there. Like, and usually I'll just tell a lie because I don't want to be bothered by shit. Or sometimes I'll tell a lie because I don't want to get in trouble. But, like, I usually just say the truth. Why live in lies? Look what happens when you live in lies. You live in lies and act like it's not happening. And then maybe you just thought they were molesting the children, which is very much so horrible. But maybe you didn't know they were eating them too. Like, so you just made it okay in your brain and was like, you know, like, eventually somebody's going to get that man, you know, like, it's not my business. And that's still bad. Like, that's still bad. And I just, unconscionable. It is. God, unconscionable. I can't live that life. I don't know what. So I hope I see a rebirth in this series. I want this man to be reborn. Yes, I do. I need this man to be reborn. And it's a black man too, girl. And you reborn and you disconnect yourself from white supremacy and the white supremacy construct, and you reconnect with your blackness and a black woman. I mean, I would cry. I would cry. I would just be like, the cinema. The cinema. And then they got this nigga before he died, because that motherfucker, what's his name? Patterson. What's this nigga's name that wrote the books? That nigga is old. He's old, nigga. Like, before he passes away, they got him to, on camera, verbally stamp his approval on this fucking series, on this season. And I'm looking at the screen for it on Prime, and it has a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb. You know how hard it is to get past a 5 on IMDb? A 7.2, nigga. Oh, God. They're doing something great here. They're doing something great. for these first 4 episodes. It's been great. It's been a great experience, except for that random ass novella where she was dethroned by penis and her face was put out there. I feel like that could have been done differently, but otherwise, they're doing something great with this. And I hope it inspires people with special interests and special hobbies to do what needs to be done in the world in the name of Jesus. I don't have those special interests or special hobbies and have no plans to, implement any special interests and special hobbies at all because I'm scared. So you're going to live in truth. We're going to live in because I'm scared for my life. So there's only certain steps that I'm willing to take before the neurodivergent, wall just stops me. And, like if I had like a group of people, even I'm not going that far. Maybe I'll protest. I'll go outside I'll protest. I'm not going that. I'm not. Your life is not mine to take. Your life is yours, and the life you live will be the life you deserve. And if somebody feels like you deserve something, and they have special hobbies and interests, who is it of my business to dictate any of y'all? Like why would that be any of my business to dictate what directions people want to go in and stuff? That's not my business. My business is to live free, be black, and hopefully go up in the fiery chariot like Elijah did instead of die. I have requests, Lord. I have requests I don't want to experience because I just experienced the world too intensely sensory wise, and I just feel like I would experience death way too intensely, and I am horrified about feeling that. So I would like to go up in the fiery chariot like Enoch and Elijah did. Yes, God, in the name of Jesus. And, live free, be black, go up in the fiery chariot. Yes, God. So that's all I focus on and shit in the name of Jesus. But God bless you all. And, I hope everybody figures out their lives. They're eating babies. They're molesting the children. They're eating cats and dogs. And be aware. And be careful who you have in your vicinity. Especially on a consistent basis. You are your 5 closest acquaintances. You are. And just knowing about something causes that to rub off on you and starts to eat at your empathy. And it's up to the individual where that empathy is gonna, how that's gonna express itself. It might make you just be an activist and do some shit about it. It might make you just, curl up and die. It might make you have an addiction. It might just disappear and now you're dead behind the eyes and you do horrible, evil things. Just because. But whatever it is, that's why you got to protect your empathy and protect yourself and protect your spirit and love yourselves. You see how important it is to love yourself, people? Because when you don't love yourself, you molest children and eat babies. You do. You do. And the biggest op is a motherfucker that hates children. Yes. Yes, Lord. It is. So be careful for them ops. Protect these children in the name of Jesus. God bless. Ashe. Amen. Later days.